So, osteoporosis, big thing that everyone has been asking questions about. Uh, it is common, it needs recognition, and it needs treatment, but not to the hype that it has been created with. What is osteoporosis? It is a skeletal disorder characterized by excessive osteoclast mediated bone resorption leading to compromised bone strength and hence increased risk of fracture at all skeletal sites. International Osteoporosis Foundation says osteoporosis is one of the most common and debilitating chronic diseases and a global healthcare problem. And osteoporosis has a financial, physical, and psychosocial consequences, all of which significantly affect the individual, the family, and the community. So, men have more bone mass than women, that we all know. This is what essentially osteoporosis visually should hit you. The cortical thickness is no pointer. I want this specificity. I want so much of this is cortical thickness, and see the thin cortex. You see so much of trabecular network. All that is disappearing here. This is osteoporosis. You keep this visual in mind, a lot of it will be understood subsequently. Quality of life goes down with osteoporosis because it can lead to fractures and disability. The structural deficit, same thing. I'm just giving more visuals for you guys to get in. The wedging will lead to this, and spontaneous wedging is known. You don't have to have osteoporotic wedge compression fracture as an event. You can have spontaneous wedging. You can even have a spontaneous fracture, which may not have been triggered with a fall. So this is what I was talking about. We from the age of 0 to 30 years we achieve peak bone mass, and that peak bone mass then starts deteriorating. But in females, it deteriorates speedily in the postmenopausal phase and then again stabilizes. So after 60-65, both males and females tend to behave similarly, but immediately perimenopausal to postmenopausal, about 10 years, females tend to deplete them zoop. This is natural physiological history of all of us. If you 3D structural thing, structure, see the quality changing in each 20-year-old, 61-year-old, and 87-year-old. Peak bone mass is when you develop the whole thing. Improve the peak bone mass so when they leave it, they still have enough. फिर वो शराबी जैसा वो ना हो कि आज इतनी भी नहीं शराब मैं खाने में जितनी हम छोड़ दिया करते थे पैमाने में वैसा वाला है, एकदम वाट लगा हुआ. So adolescence is where the bone mass goes up to 30 years. So those who have exercised well, those who have taken enough protein and calcium supplementation, develop better peak bone mass. That's the bottom line of this. And hence, these three, the triangle, too much of remodeling by osteoclastic activity leads to structural reduced activity and structural strength reduction. So that is why a higher chance of fracture. When the BMD writes that increased risk of fracture, does not mean increased risk, like the patient is walking and she'll just crumble with fractures. So that the patient has to be made to understand, you and a physician has to be importantly as that cogwheel in that. You have to tell them that when they say high risk or moderate risk, does not mean you'll just fracture off like this. You have a higher chance when you fall. Every fall will bring a fracture is not a necessity. So the pathogenesis of a fracture is the aging part will cause the change, the menopause will cause the change, and there may be other risk factors like I am low on vitamin D, or I am a hypothyroid, or I am a diabetic. All these risk factors will decrease the bone mass. That will lead to low bone density, that may fracture me. If I have poor bone quality, that may fracture me. If I have low muscle mass, I may fracture. The low peak bone mass, because I am built that way, I am a fair, thin, short individual, I will have a low peak bone mass. And with this comes one component which I don't think I have put up as a slide, is important for you all as a family physician, is sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is low muscle mass or low muscle capacity. These sarcopenic individuals have a higher chance of fracturing with the same BMD. Meaning both the guys have a T-score of say minus 2.6. One is sarcopenic, the other is non-sarcopenic. The sarcopenic individual gets a higher risk factor of getting a fracture. And what is sarcopenia? Grip strength should be 20 kgs and less in females and 30 kgs and less in males. And the speed of walk in 10 minutes should be 0.8 meters per second. If the speed of walk for 10 minutes walk is lesser than 0.8 meters per second, then you are talking of sarcopenia. Tell them to walk 10 minutes and see how many meters they have walked. Muscle mass can be seen on a DEXA scan also, and it is less than 20% of the lean mass. You can pick it up as a sarcopenia. These are all smaller, finer details which doesn't come up with every BMD, but those who are doing it in a very good way in good centers. Hence, for osteoporosis, remember this, prevention of falls is so important then. Simple. Remove the clutter from the floor. Have grab handles in your bathrooms. Have motion activated LEDs in the hallways or in the bathrooms. So old people who don't want to wake up others, they will any which way activate the light. So these are small things. Use a stick where you have poor balance. Just because there are multiple TV commercials which say मैं मेरा स्वाभिमान छोड़ूंगा नहीं और मैं किसी से हाथ अपना नहीं दूंगा, खड़ा करके देने का एक, गिरने के बाद क्या करोगे? Fracture like femur. This is all ego. Take it, no? You're going to fall, you're going to get a fracture, you will become bedridden. What that time your all this ego will come कि मैं किसी की ये नहीं वो नहीं मेरी खुददारी है ते सगड़ा. There are so many times where old people are getting out of the examination table. You try to help them out. No, I'll manage. Arey, you don't manage. That is why you are here, no? No, I think these are all very subtle things. I have seen this even in younger people. The person's own ergonomic sense being poor and they are very clumsy, they tend to develop more of these troubles. And those who are very attentive to those things tend to develop lesser trouble. It's just that education or that ability to be at peace and do it gently, they are in a hurry to do everything and they end up clumsy, clutter and fall, or get a jerk and get pains. So the long-term consequences of osteoporosis could be this deep. All of these. Osteoporosis is basically a silent disorder, and majority of them will be painless. So when you have a osteoporosis which is painful, it is usually secondary osteoporosis, and osteomalacia is usually the primary pathology which gives rise to secondary osteoporosis, which is painful. Get this correct again. Osteoporosis primary is painless, silent, and that's why a lot of wedge compressions may be picked up only on an X-ray and never in a history. However, if the osteoporosis picked up is painful, then it is more likely to be osteomalacia or a secondary cause for osteoporosis than primary osteoporosis. So once you get a painful thing, try to detect the other causes, get more investigations. Osteoporosis can be of multiple varieties. You can have the post-menopausal osteoporosis. These post-menopausal osteoporosis can only be of females, of course, and they will affect wedge compressions of the vertebrae and fracture neck femurs, which is the intracapsular variety, and lower end radius fractures. The other one is the senile osteoporosis, which will affect males and females both after the age of 65. Here they will get a burst compression fracture, and they will get an intertrochanteric femur, and they will have a neck humerus fracture. So these are commonalities. This way you can know whether you're looking at a postmenopausal osteoporosis or you're looking at a senile osteoporosis. And then you can have the glucocorticoid induced osteoporosis, which is now known as GIOP. So a lot of people are on steroids for various things, whether it is ILD or asthma or some skin disorder or whatever else. And there will be osteoporosis related to other things, like a person is hypothyroid or is in celiac disease or has Crohn's disease or has other mixed connective tissue disorders, and all those things where have a secondary effect and cause osteoporosis. The other things that I was talking about which do lead to further possibilities of fracture. See this caffeine intake, that is something which is coming up. High caffeine intake is supposed to be a negative detriment. And corticosteroids used for more than 3 months. And calcium or vitamin D deficiency. So in fact, all antipyrotic drugs, be it osteoclastic, anti-osteoclastic or pro-osteoblastic, the bottom line is the system has to be replete with calcium and vitamin D first. It's a contraindication to start an antipyrotic thing in a depleted vitamin D and depleted calcium state. एकदम ऐसा underlined statement. This is known to you. So repeat, osteoporosis is a silent disease. Onset only occurs with sudden strains and bumps, and then you realize, oh, there is a pain. So this loss of height may be due to progressive wedgings. But one classic example which I always give is a Maji going for a long drive or say on a pilgrimage for the whole day. That आज हमारा ये पर्टिकुलर पार्टी ने बोला था पूरे बम्बई के सब मंदिरों का दर्शन करेंगे क्योंकि श्रावण मास चल रहा है या पर्यूषण पर्व चल रहा है वगैरह. And they go around the whole thing, had a nice enjoyable stuff, whatever spiritually and socially. Come home saying that आज थोड़ा दर्द हो रहा है. In the next 2-3 days, the pain gets worse, and then they have difficulty getting in and out of bed, turning in bed. When you examine them, they will have tenderness and a query gibbous just about, if you watch very intently, on the dorsal lumbar junction, and that dorsal lumbar junction, just that gibbous coming up is where the tenderness is maximum. There will be no neurodeficit, they will have restricted range of motion. And then when you go back to the history and say, बस में बहुत अच्छा था, बराबर एकदम कंफर्टेबल था, हाँ मतलब क्या है ना, खड्डा खुड्डा बहुत आता था तो बहुत झर्क लग रहा था. So these people do not get a wedge compression just by the fall. Just those bumpy rides are enough for them to get a wedge compression. And that wedging increases the edema around the paraspinal tissues in the next 48 to 72 hours, and that's when they start becoming symptomatic. So take this history. Lot of times these backaches, people advise X-ray LS spine, and the X-ray comes as L1 to S4, and they miss the D12 and D11 because that's where the wedging was, and the pain doesn't go. So in such scenarios, examination is important, and if you find that the dorsal lumbar junction or the low dorsal spine is more tender, get an X-ray of the D7 to L4 rather than normal standard L1 to S1. So examination finding is so important. Osteoporotic wedge compression fractures are very easily missed, and their pain can last months. And fractures of the dorsal lumbar junction, untreated or poorly treated or poorly supported, can lead to intravertebral, meaning within that vertebra, intravertebral. That fracture line persists with fluid in it, known as Kummel sign, Kummel. Kummel sign is a sign of instability within the fracture. Do we have those drawing ka possibilities? Here. This is the wedge compression. That's anterior, that's posterior. As time goes by and it does not get better, the wedging worsens, and then you start seeing a thin line going like this. And then if you take an MRI, or if you take further more what should I say, magnified view, you will find that actually it's a fracture line within that thing, and in the MRI it will show fluid here on the T2 sequence. And if you take a X-ray of the lateral view by sitting flexed and then standing straight, they will show that the wedging compression changes a bit because there is movement here. So it allows a little more wedging when they sit with flexion versus when they stand. So that instability, intravertebral instability, is a cause of pain in lot of these patients who have been ill treated, poorly treated, or not treated. Oh, it is also a complication in well treated versions also, but you got to keep your antenna on. Alcohol abuse in males is a cause of osteoporosis. Loss of height and generalized bone pains and poor calcium intake, these things should start taking you to the possibility of osteoporosis. Remember, certain drugs, steroids, anticoagulants, anticonvulsants, can also be a secondary cause for osteoporosis. What is a fragility fracture? Fragility fracture is a fracture that a person develops in a major bone on fall from a height of the individual. मतलब इधर से ऐसा गिरा, develop a hip fracture or a neck fracture or a wedge compression or a lower end radius. A toe fracture is not known as fragility fracture, is what I'm trying to say. A ankle lateral malleolus fracture is not known as a fragility fracture. I have patients who come to me saying, मेरा 4 फ्रैक्चर हो गया अभी तक. कहाँ कहाँ? 2 phalanges में, 1 ankle में. So that's not osteoporosis. Okay. Osteoporosis means you have a BMD DEXA scan which is less than minus 2.5 and a fragility fracture. Then it is osteoporosis. Otherwise it is not. This is the take home message. Be very clear on this. The DEXA scan is the gold standard. You have these screening methods where they have these cams where they put it on an ultrasound machine with the finger and the heel and then give you so and so supplements. Is all hogwash. Don't take that as a diagnosis and definitely not as a treatment starter. Vitamin D and calcium deficiency will lead to bone loss ultimately. All this, impaired renal function, poor absorption, poor exposure, secondary hyperparathyroidism, all ultimately lead to bone loss. Postmenopausal, senile, glucocorticoid and the secondary factors.